Hello and welcome to 3 Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan, and today I'm going to tell you if this game's with their time and bandwidth.
Today's game is Taito Milestones 3. Turns out Taito had a lot of milestones apparently. Does this third batch deliver? Let's find out. Taito Milestones 3 is a new batch, like Gremlins 2, of 10 Taito games from the 80s and 90s. Let's see how they stack up to Volume 2. I like Bubble Bobble 1986 so much that I reviewed it in full. Suffice to say, it's a cute little puzzle platformer that's just okay single player, but an absolute blast with a friend in co-op. Plus it has 200 levels. Rainbow Islands 1987 is technically Bubble Bobble 2, though the co-op is gone and the gameplay is considerably different. This one also has a full review because I think it's underappreciated and still a lot of fun. Champion Wrestler 89 is one of like a jillion wrestling games of the era, and this one is perfectly okay. It's extremely easy to do moves, which I appreciated, but fighting against the CPU gets dull fast. Play it with a friend for maximum fun. Kadash 89 is like a flashier Wonder Boy Monster World, in that it's actually a full-fledged platforming RPG with upgrades, levels, different classes, and bosses. Playing in the arcade was kind of BS in its difficulty and quarter munching, but now that you have infinite credits, it's quite a bit of fun. Thunder Fox 1990 is a bit like Russian Attack meets Rolling Thunder meets Rambo. You jump between upper and lower floors, stabbing dudes with some very bland shmup stages in between. It's okay, but the bosses kind of suck. Runark, aka Growl from 1990, is the Indiana Jones game we never got because it's equal parts terrible and hilarious, and copyright infringing. Murder tons of poachers in this very short beat 'em up whose biggest gimmick is you can play with 4 people, and the fact you use the power of nature to blow poachers into actual chunks. This isn't a good game per se, but it's worth playing because it's very funny. Dead Connection 92 is a previously Japanese-only shooter that's kind of a mix between Smash TV and Wild Guns. In Prohibition era, you gotta gun down everybody and everything while not dying yourself, with one stick controlling both move and shoot. It's a very busy game, and pretty difficult, but I found it enjoyable. Rastan Saga 88 is the first of 3 on this collection, and this first one's quite good. It's a very difficult but simple action platformer. If you played something like Volgor the Viking, that game was directly inspired by Rastan. It also gets better the more you play it, making it a fun romp. I do wish I had better checkpoints though. Rastan Saga 2 89 takes almost everything that made the first game fun and throws it out for clunkier movement, much worse platforming, and an overall uglier aesthetic. My only plus for this one is that you respawn exactly where you die, no checkpoints. Warrior Blade Rastan Saga 3 92 ditches the 2D for a more brawler type experience akin to Golden Axe, across 2 screens and with 2 players. You can choose your missions and they have different paths, with each mission providing a different upgrade before you get to the end. The 3 characters are unique and the game looks and plays great, making this a fantastic hidden gem released for the first time out of Japan. All these games have the usual arcade archives wrapper and only interrupts for save states, as well as a very basic selector, and that is Taito Milestones 3. Finally, some good effing food. So what I like about Taito Milestones 3? Well, this collection pulls no punches when it comes to recognizable IPs. Bubble Bobble and Rastan are excellent games, and the filler also is much better than average across the board. Additionally, releasing games never before put out in the US is great, with Rastan 3, Thunder Fox, and Dead Connection showing up on here for the first time. Keep doing this, Taito. It makes these collections worth it. And lastly, the bulk of these games really shine in 2-player. From competitive in the wrestling game to tons of cooperative outings, if you have a buddy, this is by far the best of these milestones to pick up. When it comes to the bad, honestly, all my cons are pretty much the same as Milestones 2. First one being, I'm disappointed they took modes from arcade archives out because I love Caravan mode and I love high score mode. The lack of true save states or any modern features is still annoying. It would have been nice to have a non-leaderboard variant that added something like rewind or better save states. And lastly, the wrapper overall is still pretty weak. It's just a bunch of games tossed into a menu with no extras beyond the manuals, which arcade archives wrote themselves. Again, these are milestones, many released outside of Japan. Why are we getting cabinet art or like the how to play printout they put under the controller? Come on, give us cool stuff. As you know, I rate games on a 3-point scale. Must play, maybe consider, and don't bother. And after the stumble of Milestones 1, Taito certainly learned its lesson. Milestones 3 is a fantastic collection of games, with even the worst one being perfectly acceptable, and with some absolute classics and unreleased highlights to round it out. If you enjoy retro arcade games, this collection is definitely worth nabbing, and it's an even better deal if you can get it on sale. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Have you played these Taito Milestone games? Let me know what you think in the comments, but regardless, go out there and give Taito Milestones 3 a look.